Inspections of equipment or machines are key to worker safety. Monitoring safety when equipment is modified or recently installed is part of maintaining a safe workplace. Pre-start health and safety reviews, also known as PSRs, are Ontario's answer to catching potential hazards.
So the Pre-Start Health and Safety Review is unique to Ontario under Section 7 of the Industrial Regs. It's a review of a new or modified apparatus, process, protective element, or structure. Okay? And what the legislation tells us is that if that addition or change is made, you have to have an engineer come in most cases, provide comments on what needs to be done in order to bring that particular installation into compliance with the appropriate provisions of the legislation.
The province dictates that professionals qualified to conduct PSRs must have expert knowledge and qualifications when assessing potential hazards. Examples of people who could do the inspections are engineers, certified industrial hygienists, or registered occupational hygienists.
So the Ministry of Labour has actually come up with some guidelines that are available on their website to help guide people through this pre-start health and safety review process. Now, the pre-start review has been around since 2000 and there's still a lot of questions, so I would strongly encourage people to take a look at those guidelines and actually understand what the requirements are. There's a few misconceptions out there. So for example, I can go out and get the pre-start review done. I have the report and I put it on the shelf. That's not the way it's supposed to go. That report is going to outline things that I need to do to get into compliance. Once the engineer passes me the report, as the employer, I need to review it and say, okay, here's what I need to do. The other misconception I hear quite often is our equipment is so old it actually predates the pre-start review requirements, so we don't need to do anything. True, if you were to modify, yes, the pre-start would come into play, but you still have the obligation to satisfy the legislation that applies to your operation.
PSRs go beyond just the inspection. It's imperative that organizations apply the findings from their review to make a safer work environment. Having good safety partners also helps.
My advice would be to find somebody that you can work with. It's not just a matter of executing the pre-start, but you may have questions after the fact. How do I get in compliance? You're going to have to get a good relationship to go back and forth with that organization, that person, and say, okay, here's what I want to do. Is that going to get me in compliance? And a good relationship is going to help that.